The Team Never Quit podcast is sponsored by Navy Federal Credit Union. Whether you're looking at buying your first car or your dream car, auto purchases are big investments. But Navy Federal Credit Union makes it simple with their fast and easy auto loan process. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. TNQ Nation, welcome back to another episode. My name's Andrew Brockenbush. I'm your producer and joined by two of the most badass podcast hosts on the planet, Navy SEALs Marcus and Morgan Luttrell. Hey guys, welcome back.
What up?
All right, brother.
How goes?
How goes?
Good to be here.
Marcus, I heard you just got back from a little vacay.
I did.
How was it?
Awesome.
I saw the pictures, man.
I didn't take them.
I didn't. We didn't get invited.
Oh, you got to post more on social media. Oh,
this is the end of the summer kind of
back to school
deal. That's the cool part about having the family dynamic now, wife and kids. I mean, before we travel around with our friends, and you travel around with the military, then each crew is unique and different, and kind of each mission adventure is different. It's a lot of fun, man. I enjoyed it.
That place seemed cool.
It was. Yeah, it's beautiful, man.
I think you described it like Disney for adults.
Disney for country folk like to fish. And then there's a museum there. The natural history there, from wildlife to Native American, is unbelievable. And the scenery. I mean, just the waterfalls and mountains. Driving on a golf cart into a mountain, and there's waterfalls inside the mountain, and then there'll be a bar there. And then
Like a bar?
Like a bar. A lot of everything. I mean, and just the wildlife and scenery is just unbelievable. Food's great. People are great. I mean, the staff there, it's tucked in there in the Ozarks, on the Lake of the Ozarks. So you can ski.
Did you see the Lady of the Ozarks statue? You did? It's the third largest statue in the country.
I must have had it down in Washington or something.
She must have been laying down sleeping.
Yeah. It was hot that day. She might have been in the shade. I don't know. I didn't see her.
Y'all should check this place out. It's called Big Cedar Lodge.
Yeah, we're going. Hey, if you're looking for a vacation, go with the family or with your friends and family. I recommend this place. They got a go-kart track, has NASCAR
bodies on
go-karts. It's got a turbo
Did y'all
boost
do
on it. Oh yeah, I did everything. They got they got more skeletons they got that short-faced bear. It's unbelievable. It's almost impossible to explain. We were there for a few days, man. We still didn't get to see everything, but it is unbelievable, man. It's probably one of the coolest places I've ever been. And I mean, just for everything, the people, the atmosphere.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the pictures, I was like, yeah, I gotta go.
I took my wife to Conroe.
Went to Sonic.
Today's Patreon question of the day is coming from Ethan, and he asks, what is your favorite TV show?
Ooh. Well, I just finished Justified, moving on to Yellowstone. So that's the present ones. I would say favorite TV show of all time.
Man, those are
something I could rewatch over and over again.
Justified was amazing.
Oh.
So yeah, brother and I burned through them. That's what you do on deployments. You burn through TV shows.
Yeah, so deployments, and then I hit 1 million miles on the plane usually every year. So that's all. I watch those on. And if you're looking for a criminal, you can't go wrong with Law and Order or Criminal Minds.
Oh, yeah.
Shield. You got Justified. I mean,
Justified has the best villain.
Dexter, Supernatural, Grimm, Agents of Shield is good. The Punisher is good. Just Longmire.
Ooh, Longmire. What a good one.
Dude, Hannibal is awesome. Penny Dreadful. The Strain's good. I also watch The Flash, Green Arrow, and all that. They're good.
Well, so what was the question? What TV show or TV series?
Favorite TV show, but
TV show, Lonesome Dove.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
TV show would be Lonesome Dove.
I grew up not being allowed to watch The Simpsons, and so naturally that became my favorite TV show.
They're still running, right? That's the longest running. That's great. We watched that with the kids. Yeah,
short of Sesame Street.
Short of Sesame Street or Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers dead, bro.
I know. Sad.
There's special about him.
There's a new movie coming out too.
You ever watch Bob Ross paint?
Yeah, man.
I don't get through it.
I don't either. That guy, man. Bob Ross.
You should put a little happy tree here, a little burnt sienna.
Can't make a mistake when you're painting.
Here's a happy tree. It's just a happy tree. It's a little happy tree and a little brook. Here's that little brook.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Bob Ross paint, just turn it on.
YouTube it.
Right? Yeah. I mean, all this.
YouTube it when you're laying in bed. YouTube
I tell
it.
you, you had a stressful day. If you need somebody to calm you down, if you need that peaceful moment, you need 20 minutes, man. Right?
You're going to be mesmerized by his hair.
Just sit on the couch and turn on a Bob Ross. Mine, you know, the cabin in the meadow,
Happy tree.
sunsets, ocean paintings.
Little happy tree.
Thanks, Ethan, for taking us down this rabbit trail. Great question. If you want to have your question asked on an episode, join us at patreon.com/teamneverquit, where you can enter your questions, and we might just pick it to put it on the show.
Once that Fire Stick came out, I went down a trip like Airwolf and Knight Rider and Street Hawk.
You found Street Hawk? You found Street Hawk?
Oh, yeah. There's a compilation of the best Street Hawk.
But it's not the whole series. On YouTube?
Yeah.
It's not the whole series. It's like
No,
clips.
it's kind of it's hard to find a complete.
I've yet to find a complete clip on.
I've watched every jump that General Lee did.
They had 32 General Lees.
What?
32 cars, I think is what it was. 22 or 32 different General Lees. They just smashed smashed the hell out of them.
And if you're searching for some pure entertainment, if you ever wondered if humans are the exact same in different countries, and just pull up an outtakes video of people overseas making mistakes, it's hilarious. Just because they've had a lot of time to think about it.
Absolutely have to pull up the wooden spoon prank.
There you
Okay.
go.
Oh, that is so funny, man.
Do the wooden spoon prank, but underneath that they'll have different ones, right? Have you seen the one with the water jug?
Nope.
I pissed myself. I did. I laughed so hard, and you got to watch it. Yeah, I mean, literally, find it. It's. I think they're like in Portugal or Spain, and instead of using a spoon, it's two guys looking at each other with a Sunkist bottle. The one with his back to the wall. Every time he had dug his head,
Oh yeah,
what comes out with a 5-gallon water jug and just hammers his ass.
Oh, dude.
Oh, what comes? Like, it's just not making sense to him, man. Oh my God.
I have seen that.
Oh my God.
That's right. He hits it with that Ozarka 5-gallon Ozarka.
Yes.
That's right.
I mean, he looking at that little ass, was like, what the fuck, man? Wham!
Today we've got a pretty epic guest. We got David Bellavia. Tell me if I'm right here. Only living Iraqi
Medal of
veteran.
Honor recipient.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
His interview's good. He's got a lot of awesome stuff to say. He's doing a lot of cool stuff for the guys that are still in. And
He is. He's out networking for the Army, trying to.
I'm glad he
he's
finally got
recruiting
that.
hard.
I've known him a while. He's a good man. I'm looking forward to getting him on here.
it's going to be great. Before we do that, let's jump into some listener stories.
Okay, our next story comes from Carl. He said, you're still here for a reason. On a very routine day in August 2005, I was on patrol when I saw one of our local drug dealers walking around talking with people. A few months earlier, he had been released from prison for armed robbery and numerous other offenses. I knew he had recently had another warrant issued for his arrest, so I exited my patrol car and began approaching the group he was talking with, and he immediately began to run. He was 6'5", 230 pounds, and is known to carry a handgun, so I could not blindly just chase after him. I needed to be under control in case he'd spun around and tried to shoot. He eventually got to a fence, was trying to get over the top of it when I caught up to him. I grabbed him and pulled him down back to the ground when we eventually got into a fight, and I'm still not exactly sure how, but during our altercation, we both fell and hit the back of our heads on the curb. I was dazed, but luckily so was he. I was on my back, and he was laying across me. I'm not sure how long I had laid there, but all of a sudden a voice came and told me, "Get up, he may have a gun." I immediately rolled him off of me and handcuffed him. It turns out he was not armed, but had about a dozen bags of crack on him. I looked for my radio to call for my location in, and somehow it was lying about 20 feet away. Soon after, there was a dozen police officers there assisting me. I immediately knew something was wrong with my brain, but didn't know what to say. I was hoping I had just gotten dinged. So after I was at the police station getting ready to start the required paperwork, I tried to unlock my locker and kept missing the lock with the key. I had to use 2 hands to guide the key into the cylinder. Then I was upstairs to start my paperwork, and I had realized I couldn't recall anything that had just happened. The final straw was when someone finally noticed my bald head was swollen and bleeding. I realized I had to go to the hospital, and that was the last day I worked. The next day I had my first partial seizure, and it only got more interesting from there. I shuddered when I talked. I was constantly tired but could not sleep. My short-term memory was non-existent, and I developed a really short temper. My neurologist told me it would be about 6 months before I could start back to work, and I needed to look for another career. I told her I've always been a quick healer and I would be back in a few months. Well, the doctor was right and I was way off. I had to quit the police force and the military. I loved being both. It's now 14 years later, and while I'm much better, I'm not the person I was prior to my injury. The emotional and psychological strain was much harder for me to overcome than the physical issues. I lost everything. My job, my military career, my wife, which turned out to be good, many friends, and it was sometimes hard not to give in to self-pity. But my kids and my newfound faith got me through it. I have 3 kids who were between 8 and 2 when I was injured. I needed to be a father for them. And because of my faith, I realized I'm here for a reason. I had already cheated death a few times, including narrowly missing being shot. I didn't understand why I was still here and hoped I'm justifying still being alive. So I decided I would volunteer at a group called CASA that helps abused children. My injury also allowed me to never miss a birthday, holiday, school, or athletic event for my children. I was also a volunteer coach for football, basketball, soccer, and a library volunteer. All of that was only made possible because of my injury. I still haven't fully embraced the new life, but realize I have a lot to be grateful for. That is a wonderful but terrible story altogether. And when it comes to issues with the brain, and it's amazing how quickly something could be taken away just by hitting your head on something. And I don't know the severity of Carl's injury, buddy, but I'm happy that your quality of life is increasing and hopefully your symptomatic issues are decreasing. And the brain is a very, very dynamic piece of machinery, and it can eventually grow back to baseline, but it'll take a very long time. And you're at 14 years. My advice would be not to give in and not to give up. The brain, it yearns for challenges, so challenge it like you're doing.
Never stop learning. Do you love the TNQ podcast? Make sure you subscribe to get notified about our latest episode each week. The show is available on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and pretty much any other podcast player. We've got a ton of great episodes and had some incredible guests, including Taya Kyle, New York firefighter Jeff Kuhl, and Eric Weinheimer, the first blind man to summit Mount Everest.
Do you want exclusive access to the show and bonus behind-the-scenes content? Then join us at Patreon.
Yeah, we've got people like Kyle, Rebecca, so many others who've joined our team. We couldn't do this show without you guys. We appreciate everything you do. If you're not already, join the community. You get access to all of our guests. You get access to Morgan Marcus. You get some cool swag. You can head over to patreon.com/teamneverquit to do that. All right, let's get into today's show.
We're talking to Davis Bellavia. He is a list of accolades. A boy from Buffalo, New York, if I'm not mistaken. Joined the Army at a younger age. Moved through the ranks. Was caught in an extraordinary situation where he came out on the other end. Unbelievable situation.
Yeah, awesome and unbelievable and terrifying and all that.
Eventually was awarded the Silver Star, but then was upgraded to the Medal of Honor. But that, and as amazing as that is, the individual that's behind that medal is even more amazing. Not to take anything away from the MOH, but what I would like to get out of this, buddy, is so a kid from Buffalo, New York. How did you find your way into the service? I read some interviews from your classmates and your teachers, and they spoke highly about you. Said you weren't too much of a troublemaker, but like to get into some scrapes every once and again.
Yeah, my old man was a dentist for 37 years, and
really?
all he wanted was his 4 boys to become dentists, and I guess my birthday is the same day as the Marine Corps birthday, and
your birthday is 3 days after our birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Scorpios, baby.
Let's take a second to thank our sponsors over at Wild Alaskan Company. If 2021 has been the year for you that you're getting healthy, you're eating right, you're getting in shape, all that good stuff, well, then you know you probably should be eating more fish because that's how you're going to get those omega-3s, the protein. But the seafood counter can be intimidating. I know at my local grocery store, that section doesn't always smell great. And that just, it doesn't make you feel good about ordering fish from the local store if it smells like that. And you might be asking yourself, which fish tastes the best? What type of cut? What about the quality? Wild Alaskan Company, they take the guesswork out of buying wild-caught seafood. They deliver high-quality, sustainably sourced wild-caught seafood right to your door, which means you don't have to think about it. You don't have to deal with the grocery store. You don't have to guess which fish is the best quality. You don't have to pick which cuts. All of that's going to be taken care of from you. You're going to get salmon, whitefish, a combination of both. Every month, you can choose from all of their specials that they offer. Each shipment contains premium, wild-caught, individually wrapped portions of delicious seafood that's ready to prepare, easy to cook. I love it because it's an easy way to get that omega-3, to get that protein that you need in your diet without having to deal with it in the grocery store. It comes in those individual packages, which means it's super easy to open it up, make one for dinner, throw it with some veggies. Wild Alaskan Company seafood is how nature intended it to be. Always wild, never farmed or modified, and it contains 0 antibiotics. You can adjust, pause, or cancel your membership anytime, and they offer 100% satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Get your nutrition from nature. Get it with Wild Alaskan Company. Right now, they're going to give you guys $15 off your first box of premium seafood. All you guys have to do is visit wildalaskancompany.com/TNQ. That's wildalaskancompany.com/TNQ for $15 off your first box. wildalaskancompany.com/TNQ. Make sure to use our URL to let them know we sent you and get some amazing fish.
So your dad's a dentist, and you joined the Army in Copenhagen, right?
Well, see, yeah, right. I wanted to join the Marine Corps, and I walked in the recruiting office, and they found out my date of birth, and they were like, this gunny sergeant asked me if I was worthy of having a birthday the same day as his beloved Marine Corps. And I really thought that this was like a series of challenge questions, like I'm supposed to show confidence and swagger and be like, absolutely, sir. Absolutely, I'm worthy. And he kicked me out of his office. He said, get the hell out of my office. And so I walked in next door and joined the infantry and the Army. And my granddad is 99, and he's still with us. He's a Normandy campaign guy. He didn't do D-Day, but he got like D-Day plus like 30. He did the hedgerows. He got a Bronze Star out of that. And he was but he would always tell those stories about that time. And it was like this romance about just a bunch of guys hanging out, and he would always tell me that you really can't appreciate, life until, you've gone through that crucible of combat. And so I just looked at that as something I always wanted to do. But, at the time I joined in 99, Kosovo was like the war, and that wasn't really a war. And the only thing I learned in Kosovo is that you can burn a DVD of a movie before it's out. I was really disappointed, and my unit was German based, so we were just peacekeepers. And when the Afghanistan war kicked off, we were armor, so we weren't going to Afghanistan. And when Iraq kicked off, we missed the fight, and we were still in Kosovo. So I figured, I'm not going to get my war, and my generation's all out there hooking and jabbing, and we missed out on it. But we got it, and I'll tell you, I would have the lessons. I went to college. I learned, a lot, and life's all about education. But there is no education like the United States military, and I think it made me better.
You come from a military background, but when you showed up to boot camp, that was you telling me that you had a hairdryer in your suitcase, right?
You're kidding me.
No, I did.
Dude, that recruiter hooked you up, bro.
Oh, that's the best story. I wouldn't even pay attention when he was telling it. When he said that, I looked up, man. I was like, oh, keep going. I got to hear this.
I was told a series of first of all, 11 X-ray. I thought they told me it was extra special infantry.
That's right.
And it turned out it's just, you're miscellaneous. You can be a quarter guy, you can be whatever the hell we make you. But no, they told me it was 15 weeks of basic training. And I just assumed you get your head shaved, and then they grow your hair back for 15 weeks. And I'm like, I'm a pretty, I get fingernails and my hair grows. So I brought like hair gel and a hair dryer, and they dumped my bag, and they're like, "What jackass brought this hair dryer?" And I was like, I don't know, but I totally blamed it on my battle buddy.
I would love to see the DI's face.
Man, I showed up with
that
a coat.
hairdryer come out of that bag.
Suitcase. Yeah, I didn't even have that.
I'd have walked home and punched that recruiter right in the mouth.
Have you run across your recruiter yet?
You know what dude, this is the craziest thing in the world. So the Army tells me I'm going to the White House. I'm going through all this dog and pony show. And they're like, dude, we have a super secret surprise for you. And it's going to blow your mind. And I'm thinking it's going to be like a Mustang. You know, like,
New car.
Right?
whoa, do they give like Medal of Honor recipients like a brand new Tesla? Like that'd be freaking
Right.
awesome.
Yeah, right.
So I'm trying to be like, oh, it's not a big deal. But secretly, I'm hoping it's like a box of money or it's some really cool thing that I'd love. And so I'm waiting. I don't want to like look too desperate and get like a day before the ceremony. They're like, are you ready for your surprise? And I'm trying to like, bite my lip and be all cool. I'm like, sure. Yeah. What's the surprise? No big deal. They're like, we found your recruiter. I'm like, so? What do you mean?
Does he have something for me?
Dude, I love to punch that
the
something
guy-
right in the mouth.
Yeah, no, but Sergeant Reyna, who put me in the Army, is an awesome guy. He totally, changed my life for the better. And it was really cool to see him. I haven't seen the guy in, 20 years.
20 years, right?
Yeah, but he looks great, and he showed up, and he was at the White House. And but that was like the Army surprise. And no offense to Sergeant Reyna, I was kind of hoping for like a, PlayStation.
There should be. You should have that hair dryer in a shadow box, either for you or for him.
We're going to get him one made with his Medal of
Yeah,
Honor.
we know
and
when
a
your
hair
birthday
dryer.
is. It's coming.
From hair dryer to Medal of Honor.
We're gonna engrave it. Yeah, we engrave it from the class of. No, it's funny though because they extended basic training now to like 22 weeks or whatever. But I always wondered what how much when you get out of buds, when you become a SEAL and you put that thing on and you go home. There's got to be guys that are like, oh, Luttrell thinks he's a badass because he's a SEAL, right? Like you got to go to places where people back that you grew up with look at you differently. Because for us in basic training, we learn enough to get our ass kicked.
Yeah.
Like you learn just enough combatives, just enough. But the real skills that you learn in your line unit.
Right.
I look at these kids out of basic now; they're shooting like 3,000 rounds before they leave basic training, and they're learning combatives, and they're learning all these different skills that we never learned as regular infantry guys.
Yeah.
You don't really? I mean, you learn enough, or is it just about putting you through the grind?
It's a process.
I would say, but it's like you get more advanced training after you. The crucible, buds is just basically the crucible. I would say if you didn't grow up throwing your hands around, you will learn just enough in buds and SQT to get your ass kicked when you go back home. And we actually had a really close friend of ours, right before he deployed, after he got out of training, went home. He was a full-blood Indian, and he got tested on the reservation, and they killed him.
He got jumped by three or four guys, and they pulled blades out on him, and he was winning. So, but he lived on the reservation, and by the time Life Flight got to him and got him halfway back to the hospital, he had
bled out.
He bled out.
But yeah, to your point,
our friends, the guys we grew up with, we still run around with them, and the minute we got home, we beat on each other just to keep us humble. That's what keeps you humble, right? It is a process. So you come out of buds and there's advanced training, and then we usually have MMA fighters that come to the team and teach us how to do all that, and then you learn how to fight with everything. Basically, anything they put in our hand is just an extension of our hands. But I will say, going through all of that, the day you get your trident, I was going to ask you this, man. So the day I got my trident pinned on, I felt like I had accomplished something. I was like, man, this must what it feels like to accomplish something that you really worked and bled for. I mean, when the president put that medal around your neck, how'd that feel? It get heavy?
It got super heavy. I mean, the first thing was I was nervous, so I put a dip in.
Yeah.
And I guess that
while you were on stage,
right before,
and
so the president was like,
"Hey, it's your moment."
He said, "Do you have a tobacco product in your mouth?" And I was like, oh my God, I didn't mean to be disrespectful. I didn't mean to. So the whole time I'm just trying not to swallow that juice.
The president said that?
Yeah. They were like, what's in your lip? And I'm like, oh my, I was just nervous and I threw it in there and I was planning to take it out. And now I got all this juice building up in my, in my mouth.
You should spit in the trash can.
for like, you know, however long that ceremony was, I'm just trying not to. I'm just swallowing ridiculous.
Dude, I gotta watch that again. Then knowing that.
So you had a dip in your mouth while he was putting it around your neck?
Yeah, and so I'm making these stupid faces.
great.
Everyone's like, "Oh, you must be going through a lot of pain. You
That's
must be
hardcore.
I'm like, no, I'm trying not to swallow a small dog's worth of tobacco juice.
That's
Should
amazing.
spit right
Good
there.
job.
As soon as they hung it around your neck, as soon as they hung out so much around your neck, you should just reach over and spit before, and then smiled real big for that picture.
It was pretty crazy. But no, it's super heavy. And the other thing is you see all these Vietnam guys who, you know, I love these Vietnam guys are the coolest thing in the world. They protected us from the same, you know, crap that they went through themselves.
Yeah.
And they're just really decent human beings, and I love them. And it's such a cool thing. I mean, you know, I Colonel Jack Jacobs. I'm in New York City. I meet Colonel Jacobs from Vietnam, Medal of Honor recipient. And he's like, let me teach you how to put this ribbon on. Because they don't give you any block of instruction. They just hand it to you. And, you know, I'm wearing it. I look like a cowboy on a dude ranch. I don't even know how to – it's like a bowl. I don't even know how to wear it and what to wear it with. And he's showing me all this cool stuff. He's like, you put it on backwards, you swing it around. And he's like, you know who taught me how to do this? He's like, Audie Murphy taught him how to put his ribbon on.
Oh, that's cool, man.
When he got his award, there was like 350 recipients, and like Doolittle and, you know, Pappy and Boynton and all these like legends were around to teach him.
He never got it.
Yeah, like all these like studs. And you know, we have a very small group.
Had 9 Navy Crosses, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's in Chesty Puller with his 9 Navy Crosses.
I Navy
Said
Crosses.
we're not giving you minimum wage because you don't care about your life.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, my favorite scene is from when we were soldiers. It's not in the movie. It's in the end credits when the MASH chiefs stand there. They're in formation. They say something about his uniform being out of regs. Sam Elliott.
Oh, Chumley.
Chumley.
Or Plumley.
And he leaves. He comes back naked with just that Medal of Honor around his neck.
Yeah.
That's in the, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I never saw
He's
that.
standing there naked with just that Medal of Honor around his neck.
We are supported by Navy Federal Credit Union. If you've been thinking about getting a new car, whether it's a truck, an SUV, a sports car, whatever it is, you know that an auto purchase can be a real big investment. There's a lot of things to consider. Down payments, interest rates, monthly payment schedules. Navy Federal Credit Union makes it simple. They've got a fast and easy auto loan process. You can apply online, on their mobile app, or even by phone. It's super fast. So you can get a decision in seconds. You can even enjoy rates as low as 1.79% APR. Navy Federal guides you through finding a monthly payment you can afford. You can even estimate your monthly payments and interest rates with their auto loan calculator. If you've been thinking about getting that new car, the Navy Federal Credit Union should be your first call. Credit and collateral is subject to approval, rates subject to change, and are based on credit worthiness. Advertised rates are available for new vehicles. Message and data rates may apply. Find out more at NavyFederal.org, insured by NCUA.
There's a line in that movie that's my favorite when he says, hey, Sergeant Major, where's your rifle? And he's like, by the time I need one, there'll be plenty of them lying around.
Yeah. Sir, if I got to pick
awesome.
up a rifle, we're in bad shape.
What is it? He's like, hey, good morning, Sergeant Major. How do you know what kind of damn morning it is? Right?
Right.
Did you ever get a chance to meet him before he passed away?
I did, actually. He was working at the VA out in Georgia. And he was doing a weird thing that I'd never seen. You know, I'm a Buffalo guy. I never saw the powder that you put in your
like snuff?
Snuff?
Like real snuff?
Yeah, no, it wasn't like Coke or anything. It was
No.
Snuff. Our
Our
great-grandmother did that.
great-grandmama, Levi Garrett Snuff. I mean,
It's powder.
Yeah.
She called it, was it
He
Num
had-
Num or something like that?
shit. Get you
He
right.
had this whole thing going, and the other thing was Hal Moore was super old at the time, but these guys were still wearing their Stetsons, and they had their swagger, and yeah, man, those guys were legends. They really were.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, the path you're on now is going to, I mean, hopefully you're having a good time with this. I know it's going to get heavy, man, but that's okay. I mean, you kind of earn that. It's all about battle rhythm, too. You know the deal, bro. When we started in this, you and I started this together. and we just kind of went out, and now we're back around. And
So the premise behind the Never Quit podcast, as you know, buddy, is a never quit story. Honestly, buddy, if your story, how you got the medal, if you want to share that with us, or if there's something else, like I forget who we were chatting with, and their story was like, really? It was Spencer Stone, the kid that was on the train in Paris.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so everything happened to him, but they come to find out a year or two later, he gets jumped by a gang and stabbed like 7 times in a parking lot outside of a bar.
Yeah, that's I remember reading about that at the time. That was
God, man. So we chatted about that. So for you, hey, buddy, if whatever you feel comfortable sharing with us, man, let's just jump into.
Sure. I mean, honestly, I thought about this, when you guys contacted me, and the thing, it's really not an Army story at all. I was super close with my dad. My dad was, my best friend, and just love that guy. Every single day we talk on the phone, and I lost him a year ago to cancer.
Sorry, buddy.
Oh, well, hey, I appreciate that. He was a good man, but watching him slip away was one of the toughest things I've had to do in my life. I think we're accustomed to guys who young guys who lose their lives. It's a violent death. It's sudden. It's premature. But in combat, you just become numb to it. I think there's a sense too when we're in the military that, with the tempo that we had with Iraq and Afghanistan, you're not really hanging out with a lot of guys that are still in. If you get out, it's totally normal that you're not going to see someone for
Absolutely.
5 years.
Yep. Right.
So there's really no finality in death. You don't get to go to the memorial service because you're still deployed when you lose them, and you're not surrounded by the reality of death. And watching someone that you love go, and just watching his strength, I mean, this guy had a ton of faith. He believed in God, and he knew the end was near. And he showed just so much valor, and it was a really crazy thing, because it was like, you've got someone who you go to with every problem. He always had an answer, even if it was the wrong answer, it was an answer.
That's what daddies do.
Yeah, and
They're supposed to do.
And it was, yeah, right. No, and it was crazy to me, because I don't think you're a man until you acknowledge that you don't have a father anymore. I think that's really when you can have 85 children. You can go through 10 tours. But the moment you acknowledge, wow, I don't have a father. This is it for me. That's the day that you become a man. Some people go through that when they're young. Some people go through it when they're in their 40s. But that was the day I woke up, and I was just like, wow, I gotta come up with these answers. I gotta come up with all of this stuff. And there's a moment where you think to yourself, it's not easy. And then the phone call from the president came, and it was just like, he would have loved this. It would have been really cool. I think we all lived to make that father figure in our life proud of us, and
sure.
And yeah, so that was and the other thing too was I got to see a never quit moment with my dad. It was just unbelievable, the pain and everything else he went through. And he's like, listen, man, I believe in God. This is what's going to happen. It was like he was going on vacation. It was like, I'll see you around, when I get back, type of thing. And it was just it was one of the bravest things I've ever seen in my life. Pretty cool. It's funny. Peer pressure makes you smoke cigarettes when you're like 11. And peer pressure can also, make you charge a machine gun nest on the Normandy beach. It all really depends on who your peers are. If you're lucky enough to be surrounded by really outstanding young men and women, it's really not hard to do the right thing, And so my sergeant major was the first guy killed in Fallujah, Stephen Falkenberg, and he was such an old man. And now I look at my age, and I'm actually like his age.
Yeah, it's crazy how
came
that
out
happened.
fast, right?
Yeah, but he just had that look, man. He's been to every armpit, every butthole in the world. He deployed everywhere. He knew everything. He was the wisest of us. He was the most tactically proficient. He was a command sergeant major. He never showed me anything other than tough love. I never had a moment with him that I thought, man, this guy really cares about me. I would have thought my first name was what the fuck,
Yeah.
So
Hey, you.
Yeah, yeah, right, you. But when he went down, and that was just like, that's your senior guy, and that was crazy. And then we lost our company commander right after that. We lost our XO in our company after that.
Wait, what year was that, bud?
That was 2004.
You lost the CO and the sergeant major in the same deployment?
Same battle. It was Fallujah. It was like a day after. So we lost our sergeant major at the breach, and then we lost our XO in the company, and then the company commander died the next day in house fighting. And so it was like these young lieutenants were now, graduating up, taking over companies, NCOs rising up and doing their thing. But you look around and you're just like, obviously you've been through this too many times, but you can't really, you can't mourn on the battlefield, and you want to just turn it into something. You want to focus it into rage. You want to focus it into, I'm going to kill every dude who hurt these guys. And, but at the same time, you got to keep your discipline and everything else. But those are moments where you want to, it's so that voice is in your head every 5 minutes, whether it's a 10-mile run or whatever it is. But the voice is like, quit, just stop. Everyone's stopping. It's not a big deal. Falkenberg would bend our dog tags if we got out of a run. Our sergeant major would take our dog tags and bend them, fold them into one, and be like, go get new ones, you loser. We don't drop out of runs in this unit. I thought about that, like he would just ride us until we got the job done. But, having the chance to meet those Gold Star families and bring them to Washington, D.C. with me, it was a really heavy burden for them to do. They did it for me, and they represented their husbands.
For a guy who's been through so much and seen so much, and you're really tied into, unfortunately, to a lot of loss and grieving families. For our listeners out there, how do you cope with that, bud? I mean, that's got to be, not only do you have that juggernaut of a weight hanging around your neck, but you're in and around. You can't get away. You probably don't have the opportunity to escape the worst of it, which is the grieving families, and you have to grieve yourself. What advice can you hand out to those that are listening in on how to cope?
Boy, do I have the sponsor for you guys. We've got to take a second to thank our friends over at Mint Mobile. After years of all those fine print contracts, getting ripped off by the big wireless providers, paying tons of money for phone bills, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offered premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month, I thought, all right, guys, what's the catch? It can't be true. But after speaking with them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't a catch, which is crazy. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. By cutting out those retail stores, there's no crazy overhead cost that gets passed down to you in the form of mystery fees. Just take a look at one of your phone bills and see how crazy it is. Instead, Mint just passes on sweet savings directly to you, and the service is incredible. I live out in the boonies, and I've had amazing service, and I'm saving a ton of money. I think my bills were $200 a month. I mean, come on, $200 a month, $15 a month. Do the math. It's simple math. For people looking for extra savings, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. And if you're not 100% satisfied, Mint Mobile has got you covered with their 7-day money-back guarantee. All you guys need to do is switch to Mint Mobile. You're going to get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. You can't beat that. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/TNQ. That's mintmobile.com/TNQ. MINT mobile.com/TNQ. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/TNQ.
I think there's a mindset that, we have all these cliches about, time heals everything and that it's just a matter of moving on. But what I realized is because the loss in combat is so catastrophic and it's so unnatural that really there is no closure for these families. They literally go through that every single day. Every single day sorry about that. Every single day they're experiencing that loss. And
remember the cell phone from Big Lebowski?
Phone's ringing, dude.
Dude, your phone's ringing.
They're going through this every single day, and it's any reminder of that time period, any reminder of the military, it brings them right back into that vortex. And so, the idea is, whether the politics of the war or what the reasons why we went to war, every single person that died over there, they really died for another soldier because I could have been on that patrol. I could have been through that doorway. I could have been on that helicopter. And when you boil it down to that blood sacrifice for someone that you loved or you knew or you didn't know, it becomes personal. And so I take that loss as a personal loss, and my guard is constantly up to, we not only have to live for ourselves and our families, but we have to live to remind people who Stephen Falkenberg, Sean Sims, Ed Iwan, J.C. Madison, who these guys were, because you could put their name on a wall, you can dedicate a school to them in a post office, but unless you acknowledge how they died and why they died, you're really just cheapening that blood. Because these guys weren't, they didn't drop of heart attacks. They didn't get killed by some random, misfortune, some bad luck. They voluntarily chose to stand up where the bullets were coming, and they voluntarily said, "I'll do this for you." And that's a heavy thing, man. And I just want the families to know that if the roles were reversed, their sons would be talking to my mom, and their sons would be talking to my kids. And it's tough, but at the same time, it's our obligation to do for them,
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. That's why, with us, it's a reverence, right? You speak with a reverence with those. When one of our guys die, man, we mourn from the time they go down till we put them in the ground. And then from that moment on, you take what was great about them, right? And everything that they lived for. So when you're talking about, and that's how their memory stays alive. And that's how you keep them alive, is because in order to live, you're going to have to die. So you can choose the way you want to go out, or you go out living your life out, right? And then it's kind of one of those deals where it is, man. It's sad, and we miss them, but the family, the honor that comes with the fact that, and the capacity in which we created this country and we keep it together, people have to live in it and die in it. And you take that, and that's the honor that we have to be with each other. Because it's like, hey, I wasn't born with this guy, man, but my boys died with him. They died together, which makes us family, right? They live together and they die together. So that's what we have to do. And that's how this whole thing keeps working. It's a sacrifice we make for each other. And Mojo and I were talking about it the other day, man. During Memorial Day, you find a veteran and throw a party in their name and celebrate.
Yeah, start passing that word around. That's what we're going to start doing, Dave. Is every Memorial Day we're gonna pick a vet. Doesn't matter the service, doesn't matter somebody who passed away, and we're gonna literally have a banner with his name or her name on it, and have a party for that individual, and try our best to get in touch with the families. Like, hey, look, we're partying for whomever.
We remember your sacrifice.
How great an idea is that, right?
You know what I mean?
People might freak out when you interchange the word memorialize with celebrate, but that's exactly what it is. It's a day of Thanksgiving. It's a day to say that America still makes people.
Well, who put the definition on memorialize as bad? To memorialize somebody is to celebrate it, isn't it?
No, but I'm just saying. But when you think civilians get all messed up.
Well, I know that's because of us, and if we're doing it, then they'll do it.
And they also, like, they thank you for your service on Memorial Day, and it's like you got the wrong
holiday,
wrong dude.
But that is exactly what we should be doing, because again, this idea that that the wall in Vietnam, you look at all these names and you get you're numbed by it. Yeah. It all bleeds into each other, and it doesn't. There's not a personal story, and when you make it personal, you're forcing civilians to confront the fact that there are people out there still in this fight. They don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, and here's the promise: if you give us your time, if you give us your sons and daughters, we're going to treat them like they're our sons and daughters, and God forbid if we're not able to deliver them home to you, we are going to carry them in our hearts for the rest of our lives, even the ones we never met.
Not only that, we're going to build a memorial to them to immortalize them. So when you walk past it and you look at it, you look at their sacrifice was so great that we celebrate them as greatness. And you can't even understand that when you put it into words, but literally, man, that guy went over, and that girl went over there and they actually died defending whatever it is we're doing right now. That's pretty heavy. You know what I mean?
It's very heavy. And the thing too is that it's it kind of shows you a little bit of, there were times when, Vietnam and when you look at the Korean War generation, nobody knew where Korea was. Right. A lot of these guys were guys who fought in World War II, and that was, a ticker tape parade award, and everyone, if you didn't go to war in World War II, you were a pariah. Something was wrong with you.
Right.
And we just kind of, I think the other thing that the global war on terror is teaching us is that the old wars where you sign a declaration on the Missouri, those are dead as disco.
Yeah, ain't nobody to surrender us.
We have to be in the mindset that the next battle we start or the next fight we finish is going to be a 50-year fight. And that, if Truman would have told the American people, hey, what does victory over Japan look like? And they're like, Okinawa for the next 90 years. People would have been like, what? I don't want that. I don't want a footprint in Germany for 150 years. But that's just the way it is. And just because we move on doesn't mean we forget those men and women. And any way we can do that to celebrate their life, to celebrate their sacrifice, and show people that we're changed because of it.
Sure. Well, that lets you know how great our country is. It's a melting pot of everybody. That's why we're always at war with somebody, because we have people integrated from all walks of life. And not only that, we've come over here and built this empire, and we don't necessarily have. This is kind of in that situation where we haven't had to defend it yet. We actually go out and fight for other people, which makes our soldiers even more great, is because they're going over and helping somebody else defend their country and have the rights that we have over here. After World War II in Korea, right, that's kind of what it turned into, man. We just went over and our boys sign up because, man, they'll go fight for somebody. Because right. We're made up of everybody. That's where we're on drugs, we're on whatever in each individual place.
Let's bring this back to center. We were talking blood, guts, and gore and depressive stuff. So let's all right, hey Dave, we're gonna move on to what's next for you. I understand. Are you running in 2020 again? You got to run in 2020?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you quitter.
So I ran for Congress in the past, and everyone is now like, hey, now that you got this award, now's the perfect time. And my whole thing is that I don't, look, you didn't vote for me in 2012. The only difference is I got this thing, right? So I don't feel it's appropriate to take an award and say, oh, by the way, this is why, I should be a better representative for you. I think that, we take these things that our military gives us, and we give back to the military. And my whole thing is I want to put people in the Army. I want to put people in the Navy and the Marine Corps. and just go around and remind folks that America is still the shining city on the hill. And oh, by the way, if you mess with us, we're still going to lay it flat. Don't 1 second judge us by what you're seeing on CNN and Fox News. They talk about division. They talk about how we're separate. Everyone's tribal in America. Well, there's one big tribe that'll mess your face up, and that's the United States military. You know, and I'm super proud of it. So I don't want to exploit this award, and I don't want to use it to, you know, to push my own ambition. I want to.
Well, all right. So as a voter,
check this out. So
I'm not a constituent, but I'm a voter, and I'm somebody from the outside looking in. I respect what you just said, but I honestly and truthfully believe that you wouldn't have to campaign on that medal. I know the individual, I've researched the individual that, by the way, he was sitting in the audience when you gave your Hall of Heroes speech, which was, I don't know, I'm praying that you wrote that, which I'm sure you did. It was very well read, very well articulated, and very well received. I received that speech from a cabinet member who was extremely impressed with your past run in the past, looking forward in the future. And Marcus and I agree on this, is that we need individuals who understand the dynamic of not only just the human persona, but the American public. Okay, your rite of passage forged in fire is what we need leading the country. And this is just Morgan's opinion, okay? I think you would be, and I'm not going to say, I'm going to be stingy and greedy and say, I honestly believe you need to do this, because it would be a disservice to be me. I'll be selfish. And all the other folks that you know and love and live around and in your district, honestly, truly believe that you would do them a justice and a great service in that seat.
Moreover, you didn't take that medal, you earned it. And it's the difference between, and the comparison is this: you didn't take that medal and then go decide to run for office. You've already run for office without it. And when you had the Silver Star and then the Medal of Honor, it's kind of like an upgrade from an associate's to a degree in the eyes of the American people. I mean, it's just what it is, right? And it's earning that, and then walking in what you're doing is, there's no, what's that line from the Range 15 movies? Like, man, guys like that are the reason I didn't get in the military, and guys like that are the reason I did. So you can take it either way you want it, but that's
like just our 2 cents.
You have to wear that medal, and it's ultimate service. You're going to be wearing it anyways. And who not only do the people who are going into the military look to people like you, people who are just overall voting, and our senates and our congressmen, standing around with that. The percentage of people who served in the military up there right now is
it's minimal,
right?
I mean, the past few election cycles, we've
got guys in there
up,
been in Congress for 20 years, worth over $100 million. I don't know how that happens, man. But
well, especially because they went to Congress with $30,000 in their name.
That's my point.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
You already did the service in the military. You went over, you came back.
The only regret I would have saying this to you is that I worked in the swamp for a little bit, and it is a sad state of affairs. If you find your way there, I applaud it, but I would never tell you to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but if you get guys like that going in, eventually it's just like building a team back up and in chaos, or if it's like a hurricane. We had Jacob on the other day, man, Jacob Woods.
Something happens to guys like us. I think when and not all of us, but some guys go out there and you read your headlines and you start to think, wow, this is part of the trajectory of service. And all I'm saying is that, some people were meant to run with a football and some people were meant to block, and there's nothing wrong with blocking.
Oh, no, that's not what I was saying at all.
No. That's you doing that to yourself, man. We're trying to tell you.
I'm all about opening the door so that, 20 other guys just like us can go through it. And I'm saying right now that when you look at the number one need, look, we can crap on the VA all day.
I do that all the time.
But there are honorable men and women that are at the VA.
Absolutely, 100%.
I usually crap on the leadership.
Hey, you know where the problem with the VA is? It's not the people who work there; it's the people who over them, the one we're telling you to go in and fix.
The government servants. You're
Yes,
absolutely
I
right.
worked at the highest levels in parallel with the VA out of the Department of Energy, and ask me how many of them were veterans. 0. Not one.
I mean, you know how efficient the military runs. That's if the VA was running like the military. Look, you get your ass into medical and dental, and you get out. Right? They make sure you go there. If that's how you know that there's a gap somewhere. Because if it was run by the military, then it wouldn't be a problem.
No, I also believe though that the big chasm that we're seeing right now is that we're not able to the quality. We're seeing so many kids right now, obesity and the prior issues that they get into, and they're totally DQ'd from this opportunity. And I just don't see enough folks that are willing to go into inner cities in America and say, look, there's a pathway out, and it's going to make your family better. It's going to make yourself better, and we're seeing results. The other thing too is that this idea that somehow we're going to go to Washington and fix something where we've got to stay to our true north. And my politics, I'm a conservative and I see the world the way I see it. But I got to be honest with you, I remember serving with liberals. I remember serving with a bunch of other guys that we disagreed and we didn't see the world the same way, but we got our stuff done. And we all
And most of
worked
the time we
together.
didn't even know that. We spent our whole lives not even knowing that. I mean, what that even meant. We never talked about that kind of stuff. It didn't even matter. And even if in conversation, they talked about this. We talked about the same stuff. We just didn't label it because it was just that's how they thought. And we got along famously.
That's very true. That's very true. But the thing is that, there's still, I still believe that a vet who disagrees with me, we can work together. There's a common respect. There's hey, let's split the baby here. Well, let's talk like men. Let's talk like peers and with honor and respect there. And if that's not a common denominator, then you're going to end up, blasting your head against a wall, because it's so frustrating to be able to work with people that just don't have a true north. And again, why are they there? Well, they're there to better themselves, or they're there to ride Congress until they get to the Senate and then try to play it up to something else. And I just think that service, whether it's, in politics or it's in the military, there's nothing more pure than just serving. That's a bedrock of what our country was founded on. And not enough people are looking at the military, screw college. I mean, honestly, all the problems, by the way, I can go to 4 major problems in our country right now. The military solves all of them. You want to be a citizen? Guess what? Get a bad hair, go to basic. You want to pay off your debt? You want universal health care? We got you covered.
No, I know. That's the great part about it. And that's one of the things we don't talk about in the military. Is like literally, if you want to have your college, go to free college, you can just sign up for 4 years and they'll do that. If you want medical and dental, you sign up and they'll do. It's all right. It is. It's all right there. It works.
It's
it
all
works
right
well.
there. Every society that people are, putting knit hats on and throwing Antifa masks on and cracking windows, all of those problems are solved in the military. And if you're like, well, I want to do something that's, with computers, or I want to be cyber. What do you, this is the military. We've got everything. You started this whole thing by saying, we have our own accountants, our own nurses, our own dentists, our own, that's the infrastructure of the military. But again, the message isn't out there because everyone has a preconceived notion of the type of people that join the military, that we're all, some saber rattling, yahoos that are out there just trying to, hurt someone.
We have those, and and you see those guys because that's what they do. They want you to see them, right? But other than that, we have literally everything. If you want to be a cyber hacker, who would you want to just? Why wouldn't you work for the one people that can let you hack anything you want, right? They pay you to go in it, right?
You end up with a Suburban up front of your house and says, hey, I'm either going to buy you a steak dinner or I'm going to put you in prison for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's the choice. But here in the military, I talk to a lot of liberals and a lot of progressives, and they always talk about, the problems with the world. we've been fighting bullies since 1775. That's what we have been doing as a military, and I love this, and I really feel like it's making a difference. And if that comes up down the road, I'll cross that bridge. And the other thing too is that the situation out in Buffalo is we got a congressman who's in a little hot water, and I just it's real touchy on all sides. It looks like a bunch of people are going to jump into a primary, and it just gets that whole. I look at AOC. I mean, she won her primary with like 15%. It's not like she got a huge plurality of the vote. That's what happens in those primaries. And you spend every 2 years raising money and running for office. And what do you want to get done? What are you trying to get done? What I'm trying to do right now is I want teachers in the United States to be combat veterans. I want to start initiatives where we take drill sergeants and combat vets and we put them in inner city schools. In fact, we're raising a private fund, where we will supplement any combat veteran $500 a month for their entire career just to teach young people. Because I'm telling you right now, when it comes to school violence, if you put a Navy SEAL teaching earth science in Columbine, that shooting stops in the hallway. If you want people that are being taken advantage of in a school, you put a drill sergeant in charge of math, and there will be no bullying in that classroom. You will have discipline, but more importantly, you will see that those kids are going to see themselves in those veterans. They're from the same neighborhoods. They look the same. They have the same background. And now we're telling people, you want to go to Vassar College and get a degree in basket weaving and get $70,000 in debt? Or do you want to control your own destiny? So to me, I think the future is having veterans as PhDs. You're not supposed to have a doctorate as a vet. You're supposed to be drinking beer and collecting a pension. The mindset is our service is one aspect of our life. What we do when we get out, that's what changes the world. And I want to be a part of the vets.
Yeah, so we join up and and we throw that uniform on, and our country does that to teach us. So when we come back, we pay it back, right? That's what we give back to our community. And literally, the difference between being a criminal and being courageous is the uniform, right? I mean, we sign up and they take all those skills and assets that we have that either could have been debilitating or good for us, and push it in a positive direction, man. But David, man, we got to wrap this up, bro. I can sit here and listen to you all day. If you could just tell us how people can follow you and find you, and what you got coming up, that would be great.
I'm just going to every, if your son or daughter's in basic training, I'll probably be at that graduation and ROTC and everything else. I'm just running around with the Army. I don't do the social media thing because, I'm just focused on this right now. Yep. So, you can go to dutyfirst.com. It's duty1st.com. That's our website. And we're just trying to get out there and talk to as many young people as possible and get out to schools and remind people that there are still good guys out there, and they're all in the military.
Nice.
I remember when we were doing the Vets for Freedom tour, we stopped by those schools.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, man. And you're right. They listened a little differently when we walked in.
Yeah.
All right, brother, man. Hey, good job on your medal. I know it's heavy, but you're the man that can carry it. So keep doing what you're doing. And we love you. God bless you, man. Pass our best to the family.
Great meeting you, brother, finally.
I love you too, Marcus. And I'm super proud of what you've been doing, what you continue to do. Morgan, I have a ton of respect for you, man. Thank you for your service, but more importantly, thank you for doing what you're doing now. That's huge.
Thanks, bro.
That's a game changer. When we can start taking over those roles as veterans, man, we can do whatever we want. So God bless you guys. God bless your families.
All right, brother. Out here. It's good to see David jumping back in, helping out the Army, doing recruiting and stuff. He's absolutely the guy to do that, especially everything that he's been through.
Oh, yeah.
Great role model.
Yeah, he is, man. He's got the wit and the personality.
He hit the nail on the head. Whenever time you see a good recruiting video, you see a Wounded Warrior video play after the fact.
Oh, yeah. He's paying attention now. That's good.
Could have talked to that guy for hours. There was so much fun to just chat about.
He is. He's full of them. He's got a lot of great stories. I enjoyed when we were doing that Vets for Freedom tour. We were on the bus together, and I love to sit and listen to him talk.
David's just one of many incredible guests we've had on this show, and we couldn't get these guests back each week if it wasn't for you guys. And so if you want to be notified when we drop a new episode, you got to make sure you head over to whatever your favorite podcast player is. For example, on Apple Podcasts, there's going to be a big purple button that says subscribe. That's the quickest way to be notified. You can do that pretty much on any platform. Spotify, I know you can do the same thing. You'll get notified every time we drop a new episode, so you can know exactly what we've got going on in the briefing room.
And today's episode, Ignite a New Fire in You. If there's one thing that I've learned, it's that sharing your story is a powerful thing. There are people out there that need a kick in the ass, and your story could be the one thing that changes their life forever. Take a minute to share your story at teamneverquit.com/podcast. Just click on the Share Your Story button in the menu so we can encourage you along the way. Your story just might be shared on one of our upcoming episodes.
And if you're already following us on Facebook and Instagram, you know we keep our followers up to date with new swag, sales, guests, events, tons of other stuff you're not going to get anywhere else. If you're not following us yet, you're missing out. Follow us right now at team_neverquit. You can keep up with all that Marcus has got going on at Marcus Luttrell, all that Morgan's got going on at Mojo Luttrell, and you can keep up with the every so often post I make at Andrew Brockenbush. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode. We love you guys. Thank you so much. We're out.